Hi, this is Bobby Tewksbury with TewksHitting.com. We're here with My Swing Episode 3. We have Bradley from Salinas, California today. Pretty excited to take a look at his swing. So let's take a look at it. We'll just play it real quick. Obviously a younger hitter. Lefty. Has some longer levers. Obviously needs some strength, needs some time to develop, so that's stuff that happens with time. When watching this swing, I kind of felt like it was, disconnected. Not really, like his body's not working well together. So in the reported strengths and weaknesses, stays pretty compact, lack of extension, less than ideal use of lower half, and hands tend to leak forward prior to foot planting with stride foot. So when we look at this clip, and we're going to really just key on two things today. Number one, if we look at the upper body, there's a huge tendency, I feel like, for kids who don't have strength when they get their hands loaded up too high. And for me, that would be, their hands as high as their ear, if not higher, on the backside there. So when the hands get up that high, the tendency is just for the hands to fall down. So he's got some of that going on where kind of elbow and hands are working down at the same time. He does get the elbow to kind of like slide forward right there, but that's happening when the hands are moving forward. So sequence-wise, it's not really ideal. He gets that lead arm really far across his chest, and I don't know that he's going to be able to get into these positions when he's older, when he's a little stronger, and some of that flexibility and laxity goes away a bit. So we've got that action going on. And then when we look at the lower body, got some funky stuff going on. So as he's landing, not all that bad of a position, I guess. He's got the hips to lead a little bit, the elbows down. You can look at this frame and say it's not a bad, not that bad of a spot. And, it really isn't. He's young. It's not the end of the world that he isn't swinging perfectly. But he's got some interesting stuff going on. So that front foot is down. Watch how the front side just kind of like flops open. And the back foot really turns out. And it just kind of like, there's not much drive going on. So this is, for me, where things are getting kind of disconnected. It's just not working well together. The hips are definitely open. There's a ton of lag, but it's not getting to the barrel. It's not, it's not all coming together. So in terms of extension, this is really a product of, the body not working well together. And when he finally does get to contact, when he gets turned, the only thing he's got left is the arms. So they're going to kind of hit the ball and flip over kind of quick. So there's really no reason to get extension. So I pulled up a bunch of lefties. I want to look at Griffey in high school first because he's a guy that has kind of a lot of bar, I guess, some arm bar. So arm bar is not the worst thing in the world. It can create some depth to the bat. It can create some angle. But I want to look at how his lower body is finishing and not flopping. So I hope that word flop makes sense, where the front hip's just kind of working back. The back leg is just kind of like kind of collapsing, kind of falling towards the plate, and there's not much drive. Watch how Griffey's kind of whole hips and everything fire, and everything kind of drives upward. That's some action that I want you to try to implement, try to experiment with ways to try to find a feel with that. Some medicine ball drills might be really good, where you grab a medicine ball and throw it up against a block wall, cement wall, to try to promote some of that drive. I would imagine his hamstrings could go for some strengthening. So some med ball drills might be really good. Again, with Griffey's swing, hands are working back against that turn. So in some of actually both of the first two my swings, talking about the resistance, talking about where the load is coming from and not getting loaded too soon with the upper body, loading with movement. So try to get those hands to load back a little later so they're not just falling. Try to put your hand, I mean, look at where his hands are, and look at where, Bradley, look where your hands are as we're getting this going. You're allowed to start your hands down here to try it out. You're allowed to mess around and experiment with this. Try it. Next, we're going to look at Joey Votto. So I just try to get like a bunch of lefties. Again, he's got that better hand action where the elbow starts to work down when the hands are still up, if not working up. So everything is still back, where you kind of, when the elbow starts to come down, everything's coming down. And then with Votto, again, watch this drive that he's got, where that front side is not just kind of falling back without any force. So you can see that lack of like upward drive from the whole pelvis, the whole kind of hip unit, I guess. I'm just going out of my way to not to use technical terms because we really don't need them. I'm just trying to get some drive going. So that's the two big things I want you to really focus on. Try to get these hands to work a little bit better. Get some drive going. A good drill that you can try out is to take swings and don't let this back heel come off the ground at all. Call it like a heel down drill. And where the rotation that you have is extremely, I just keep going back to the word disconnected. It's a flat rotation. It's not a drive. So if you can keep that back heel down and prevent it from kind of spinning out and working towards home plate sooner, that might promote some better moves. The last guy I want to look at was Freddie Freeman. And this is more for like just a general athletic position. Check out how low Freeman is. He's a big guy. He's not a small person. So he's really low. Look at where his hands are getting to. I would love to see you get into a position more like Freeman. You got some kind of lean back going with your body positioning. Can you feel how his head is kind of got like a forward feel to it? Better angle with this back leg where you're kind of stacked up on this back leg. A really good thing to try to feel is, instead of kind of like drifting back, feel more like a down crunching move with the head. Another guy who had that was Barry Bonds, who kind of took that head more down and he kind of scrunched down into it. Again, his hands are down by his hip. Freeman's hands aren't that far down. I saw Freeman hit live 2013, and he looked like he was trying to hit everything the opposite field. I don't know if that's what he was trying to do, but that's certainly what it looked like to me. So as he goes kind of into his swing, he gets those hands to work up, but he really stays. You want to talk about staying tight and staying like keeping the hands in. He really kind of works the hands in tight, elbow in tight, and then everything is kind of working out away from him. So that to me is a tight swing. And let me pull back a little bit. And I honestly wouldn't mind seeing his hands a little higher at that point in the swing too, because if you look at, other hitters that are pretty good, there's just some different spacing going on. So let's try that heel down drill. Let the hands start lower. Don't need to start them so high. See if we can get some drive. So if you have a medicine ball, find a wall you can throw it on. I don't know if you have a garage that's a cement wall, or if there's a block wall building somewhere at your school. But do some medicine ball drills where you're driving with that backside. And I'll talk to my business partner about getting some videos up about this, because I think it could be really beneficial for a lot of athletes. So let's work with that. Heel down drill, get some medicine ball work going, experiment with these hands, and let's see what we can get you doing. Be a little more athletic, a little more dynamic with that lower body, and see if that'll produce that extension look that hitters get. It's not really something you need to try to get, but it's something that'll happen when you do it well. So that's what I've got for you today. Hope that helps. And if anybody wants to submit their video, I'll have the link below in the YouTube description, and you can send your swing in, and maybe you'll be selected for the next My Swing. Thank you very much, Bradley. Thanks for letting me take a look at your swing, and good luck making some adjustments. Thank you. Take care.